Whether you're looking for answers to specific life questions or seeking to become the best version of you possible, welcome to the Mental Breakdown and Psych Reg podcast, where we offer insight, information, and strategies based upon research and years of practice as clinical psychologists. So sit back, have a listen, and get connected with our hosts, Dr. Berney Wilkinson and Dr. Richard Marshall. Welcome back. Now, it's just me, Dr. Berney, today. Dr. Richard is out for the weekend. Just so you guys kind of know some of our little background things, we usually record most of our podcasts and everything on over the weekend because we have very busy schedules during the week, and we try to come in early on during the week to record before we start seeing patients and kind of get started with the rest of our day. But lately, because of our schedules, we've been recording a lot over the course of the weekend, and we had planned to come in this weekend and record a bunch of things, but Dr. Richard actually decided to do something that was wonderful. He went with his daughter and his family to a state cheer competition, and because he did that, he wasn't here, of course, for us to record the podcast. So I do, if you are watching on YouTube, I do have a fill-in, though he will not be as engaging as Dr. Marshall would be, but the idea of him taking some time to go off with his family, I think is terrific, and actually is going to be the topic of this relatively brief podcast today. And that is, life is stressful and work is stressful, and we get into these routines where we get up every day and we go to work every day and we work all day long, and then we go home and we go to bed so that we can get up in the next day and do it all over again. And I know that, like many of you, our schedules are pretty packed. We start very early in the morning and we work until late evening, sometimes early into the night. And again, get home, go to sleep, and get up to do the same thing the next day. And it's really important that we make sure that we take some time off, that we take some time to break away and enjoy our lives a little bit, enjoy things that are going on a little bit, for two big reasons. One is, of course, our own mental health. Life is stressful, again, and work is stressful, and we need to break away just so that we can rejuvenate, we can refuel, and get ourselves set and ready for the next week, for the next day. When we don't do that, we start to get overwhelmed. We start to experience things like burnout and other negative symptoms that are often associated with stress and just overwork and overdoing things a bit. But the second reason is for our family. If you have children or if you have a significant other, working long hours every day is stressful for the relationship. It's difficult to connect with your family, to connect with your kids or your spouse or other people that are important to you, like your friends and other people that you spend time with. It's really difficult to connect with them when you only see them on the weekends or a few minutes here, a few minutes there. I know for me, sometimes I'll get home in the evenings and I will pretty much eat dinner and go either go read some or study a little bit before I go to bed and get ready for the next day. And so I know that there's times when I don't spend as much time with my family, and I know that Richard's is the same way. And so there are times when it's great to make sure that we take that break away to spend time with our family and do things with them. Now, there's some things, though, I think that we need to consider in order to be successful with that. I know for many people, the idea of taking a vacation, even if it's just a short vacation, the idea of doing that and taking that time away from work and away from our obligations is really stressful in and of itself. It's really difficult to do, and we avoid it. We tend to resist that tendency. And I was looking for the article before I started recording, and I just couldn't find it again. But I felt like it wasn't too terribly long ago. I read an article that said that most Americans don't even use their allotted vacation time each year. Or if they do, it's at the last minute, and it's not real well planned or used in a helpful or adequate way. Instead, we work these, again, long hours, these challenging schedules, because we don't want to get behind. We don't want to leave the work setting because we don't want to have any problems or issues. And I don't think it's because we're fearful of being fired or let go or losing our job or anything like that. It's just that many of us are concerned and dedicated to what we're doing, and we don't want to take the time off because, to be quite frankly, we know that when we get back, there's going to be a lot of work to do, and so we resist that as much as we can. So let's talk about a few things that we can do to help make sure that we take some time away, that we take some time off to recharge our batteries and to sort of refocus so that we can do that successfully and return to work without much of an issue. The first thing is that I think it's really important that we don't try to wait until the time is perfect for a vacation. That time will likely never come. I know that there's a lot of people who think, well, I want to make sure that the kids are off of school and that my significant other can do this and that this person is available or that person is available or this can happen or that can happen. And we wait for the stars to align in such a way that it's just the perfect time for a vacation. When that happens, that's awesome. That's great. And it's wonderful. But the likelihood of that happening is really rather small. So don't try to restrict yourself to some time off that's going to, again, be this ideal perfect scenario. Similarly, don't wait until you're going to that you feel like you have to take these long periods of time off at a time. Richard, for example, is just taking, he's taking Saturday and Sunday off, though we don't, I know most of us don't work 7 days a week. He's taking these 2 days off to go with the family, and he's doing some stuff while he's there as well, but it doesn't have to be a week or 2 weeks or anything like that. It can be just a day here or a day there. It doesn't have to be the perfect ideal vacation where you go off and you do all these massive things because you're going for long stretches of time. It can be just a day or two here or there. Number 2 is make sure you plan ahead. And what I mean by planning ahead is most of the time we resist going on vacation because we know that we have so much work to do that if we leave it and go on vacation, when we get back, it's all going to still be there. So planning ahead means a week or two, sometimes before you take the vacation, you're starting to prepare for that. You're starting to wrap up loose ends. You're trying to make sure that most of the things or just about anything that you can get done before you leave is finished. The worst thing to do is and this is I think a fear that many people have, is you take your break, you take your vacation with projects that are undone, that are still left in the middle. And so when you get back, you have to try to re-engage that project or that whatever that is that you're working on. And that's really a difficult thing to do. And I think that's one of the reasons why many of us avoid that, because we don't want to experience that discomfort or that challenge. So planning ahead means within a week or two before you leave or you're planning to take that break, go ahead and start preparing for it by wrapping up those loose ends and getting things accomplished and getting things done so that you can come back and either start the next thing on your desk from fresh at the beginning, or you're clear and set so that the things that can be done or have to be done are all completed. And this may include having someone else take care of some things while you're away. So assigning people, planning ahead by assigning people. If this project needs maintenance along the way during the time that you're gone, make sure that there's somebody there at the office who knows to take care of that stuff and they know what to do. But all of that is just planning ahead, taking time to prepare for that ahead of time. Now, the third thing is another thing that's really challenging for most people, and that is to not feel guilty about taking a vacation. We all need vacations. We all need some time away, some time off. And so to feel guilty about doing something that you need to be doing really is counterintuitive. It really works against what the whole purpose of taking that time off would be. So when you take the time off, try not to feel guilty about it. Recognize it or see it as something that is necessary, something that you should do if you want to be able to function and manage things adequately, that time off is probably going to actually make you or help you perform better when you return. In the very least, when you do part two, that planning ahead, what some of the research says is that the few days up to a week or so before we leave for vacation tends to be some of the most productive time in our work life. So in the very least, by taking a little bit of time off, you're creating some really productive time that you're getting things done. So don't feel guilty. Take that time, use that time, and recharge your batteries and your just emotional well-being. Now the fourth thing is, again, this is something that a lot of people try to do, is when we're on vacation, sometimes we really work hard. We really put a lot of energy into staying away from thinking about work. Now, it's great if we can do that, but some of us work in fields or in such capacities that we still have to check our email. We still have to make sure that things are working and progressing, especially if you own a business or you are running some big projects and things like that. You may still need to check your email and to monitor things or to talk with the office periodically throughout the time. Do it. If that's something that you have to do, don't feel guilty for having to do that. You don't want your business to fail while you're away. Just like you don't want to avoid going away just so that your business survives. You don't. These things don't have to be mutually exclusive. So when you're away, if you have to check email, check your email. Just assign a couple of times throughout the day that you're going to do it. Check your email, make your phone calls, then close it up and spend the rest of your time on your vacation or your time off or with your family or however you're choosing to use that time. But don't feel guilty about that either. You don't, again, I know I just said this, but you don't want to feel as though your business is going to fall apart while you're gone. When you feel that way or when you worry about that, that's going to lead to you not taking the vacation that you need to take. So let's accept the fact that we have to do that sometime, do it, and then move on and enjoy your vacation. Now the last thing is probably maybe one of the more difficult things, and that is preparing yourself for when you have to come back. I know that for me, whenever I take some time off, I always make sure that I'm back home and have a day or two to, if I go on a big trip or something, I take a day or two to make sure that everything is stable and everything is good before I kind of get back in and jump into seeing patients or having meetings and things like that. I want to make sure that I'm back acclimated to the office and that I'm taking care of the things that need to be taken care of before I start getting so consumed with my regular clinic work and things like that and then I start getting so overwhelmed again that I'm too busy to take care of things that need to be taken care of from when I was away. So preparing for your return is going to help make sure that you smoothly go back into the work setting. This may include, again, checking your emails or making phone calls or stopping by the office the night before you plan to return full-time to make sure to take care of any loose ends that are on your desk from when you were away. It may also include, again, coming in either the afternoon before you're planning to fully return or coming in early the day that you're fully returning to make any phone calls or, again, take care of any emails or anything like that need to be taken care of. But doing these things, not waiting for the perfect time, planning ahead, not feeling guilty about anything, feeling guilty about taking the vacation to begin with, or feeling guilty about having to maybe do a little bit of work while you're away, and certainly planning ahead as it relates to returning to work, all of these things are going to help you feel more comfortable taking that time and enjoying the vacation that you should take. Again, life is stressful. Take some time. Enjoy yourself, enjoy your family, and when you're enjoying those aspects of your life, it's going to make everything else so much easier. It's going to make it easier to go to work every day. It's going to make it easier to meet the obligations that you have for your time and your energy outside of the home. So take the time. And Dr. Richard, I'm so glad that you took some time, and I can't wait to see you back in the office on Monday so that we can get to work on some other things. We have some more podcasts to record, of course, and we have lots of other things that we're planning to do. So can't wait for you to be back. My co-host today was very quiet, but that's okay because Dr. Richard will be back for our next episode, and we'll be looking forward to it. So until then, I'm Dr. Berney. Stay happy, stay healthy, and forget to be afraid.